Mike Pachelli here. Welcome aboard. For this lesson, I'll be talking about the Beatles recording of Devil in Her Heart that they did in July of 1963. The song was first recorded by a Michigan all-girl group called the Donnays, and it was written by Richard Drapkin. The Donnays didn't even know that the Beatles recorded it until they were watching a Beatles cartoon and heard their song. But it's proof positive again that when the Beatles did a cover version, they do it far superior than the original. The Beatles used to scour through the record department of Brian Epstein's NEMS store to look for obscure 45s, and they found Devil in His Heart in 1962. About the song, George Harrison has said, "Brian had a policy of buying at least one copy of every record that was released. If it sold, he'd order another one, or 5, or whatever. Consequently, he had records that weren't hits in Britain, weren't even hits in America. Before going to a gig, we'd meet in the record store after it had shut, and we'd search the racks like ferrets to see what new ones were there. Devil in Her Heart and Barrett Strong's Money were records that we'd picked up and played in the shop and thought were interesting." Right after they got to 45, the song was in their live set all through 1963 to feature George. And on July 16, 63, they recorded a live version of Devil in Her Heart for a BBC radio show called Pop Go the Beatles. So since they knew Devil in Her Heart so well, they decided to do a version of it on their second studio album, which eventually would be called With the Beatles. So July 18th, 1963, they're at EMI Studio 2, and it's the first day of recording for songs for their second studio album. They did 3 takes with the usual lineup, John and George on guitar, Paul on bass, and Ringo on drums, and they were singing and playing live. And remember, George is only 20 years old when he's doing this. So then they did overdubs, and the overdubs were some extra lead guitar work, double tracking some of those the signature riffs, and George double tracked his vocals during the verse, and Ringo added maracas. Fun facts to know and tell. Around 25 seconds into the song, Paul is really out of tune with his background vocals, but he quickly catches up. And then around 2 minutes, maybe I think it's about 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the song, George plays that signature riff. He comes in early, and they left it on the record. The song was mixed on August 21st at EMI Studio 3. And it was released on November 22nd in the UK on the With the Beatles album on Parlophone. And that was the day of John F. Kennedy's assassination, by the way. And then on April 10th, 1964, it appeared on the Capitol release, the Beatles' second album. So that's the backstory. Let's get started. George Harrison is playing his country gentleman on Devil in Her Heart, and he's playing and singing live, so he does leave some space here and there, which is quite nice. It starts off with a signature riff that has a lot of quarter note triplets in it, and it's based on really just an A minor scale, or if you like to think in modes, the Dorian mode, starting from C going backwards. So that's the main idea of the riff, which is kind of Spanish sounding, but he plays it in major and minor thirds, and it sounds like this. You go 1. I'll do that nice and slow for you. 1. Okay, and to play the song basically goes between a refrain and a verse. So to play the refrain, you'll need these chords. You'll need an A minor, a D7, a G, and then he tags a little, what I'm going to call a C over G. And those are the chords for the refrain. So on the refrain, he plays like this. It starts, he goes 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Then very softly. 2. He plays this little ascending riff in 2 different positions. First time he plays it, since maybe he just played open strings at the intro, he goes, and you're into the verse. On the verse chords, you'll need For this verse, you'll need a C here, a C minor, that G again, and you'll also need an A, and back to a D7. So on the verse, you hear a lot of G notes on the very first verse. So he plays a chord, he goes like, now he plays that open again. Same C. To the A. So that's the first verse and refrain, and they're very similar. But let me just do you that much. Here's the refrain. I'll do the intro and the refrain and the first verse. 3, 4, 1. And that'll get you through the first verse and the first refrain. On the second refrain, it's very similar, just a few little differences. Let me just play it for you slowly. Here's refrain 2, 3, 4. Now he's going to go to a different C. He's going to go to this bar C up here. And also this C minor. And the rest of the chords are the same. So now he plays that, the riff up, he goes like that, instead of he's playing it here starting on the 3rd and 4th fret. Right? To this C. Gets a G7 here. Back up to the C. And a little syncopation here, which is nice. So the second refrain and verse 2, I'll play you that. It's like this. 3, 4. Got that? On refrain 3, he adds a little giddy up hitch on the 3rd measure. On that G, he puts a 16th note on the last beat of beat 1, when he's playing from the G to the C over G. And it's a little giddy up, I like to call it. It's like this. It goes, so very slowly that would be. So refrain 3 more in time would be. But the second time, he doesn't do it. He plays it straight. And into verse 3, the same climb, the same bar C. Quick G7. Different rhythm. And I like how John and George both do this. When they get into a pattern, they get a little motif, they'll repeat the motif, like on that C. It's like, close to the A too. A nice syncopation here. So we're at refrain 4, and that goes like this. A little different there on this D7. It's and back to that little giddy up 16th note, but straight the second time. And for some reason on the end of 4 he hits a G and a single note on 1 of the A minor. So that would be slowly right there. It's and then for some reason he goes into the riff too early and plays, oops. I don't think he meant to do that, because the next measure is where it should come in, and he plays 1. Not sure he meant to do that either. Kind of works, but it's not very Beatle-like, because the chords are, but he's implying a G7 flat 9. I don't know. And then on the ending, he finishes it with 1. Interestingly, on that G9 chord, he really gets a really clean, so which must mean he's double jointed there, unless he's reaching around, because you hear, and then, you know, but very clear, those 3 notes. So if you're double jointed, you can get both these and the G9. I'm not double jointed, can't do it. Charts and tabs will make it clearer than I could say it or play it, but that's what George Harrison did on Devil in Her Heart. John Lennon is playing his little tiny Rickenbacker 325 on Devil in Her Heart, and he's doing his usual stellar job of propelling the song along rhythmically. So to play John's part, you'll need an A minor like this, a Beatle D, a G chord. Now when he does that, what I call a C over G on George's part, it's more like I'm going to call John's just a G suspended, because you only hear the G and a C note. And when he goes, okay, and let's see, you'll need the C, C minor. You're going to need a G7. You'll need an A bar chord too, and a D7. And I think the only other chord you'll need would be in refrain 3, he plays a A minor bar chord, like that. So on the intro, John does this, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple. And then the refrains are close to what George did, but he adds a little more giddy up. So here's a refrain. I guess I'll do the refrain in the first verse. It goes like this, 2, 3, 4. And the very first time, he adds that little extra G triad. So you see there's a little more giddy up, like on the G, he plays those extra 16th notes, you know. That kind of stuff. So refrain 2, similar. It's like this, 2, 3, 4. verse 2. Nice now how he jumps up to the G7. He goes like this. He goes, right? And that's just good rhythmic playing right there. Very slowly. Back to the C. And that's so John Lennon, where he throws a little extra 16th note in there. All right. Refrain 3, now he's up to an A minor bar chord up here. And it's like this. Refrain 3. And again, with the motif thing I talked about before, that's this exact same rhythm on the A minor and the D7, right? Then some more giddy up. Back up to the A minor bar chord. Same motif for both of those measures. More giddy up. Getting a good G7 in there. Verse 3 on the C. Right? You see a number of motifs again on that C, C minor, same thing on the G, same thing on the G7. On refrain 4, there's 2 measures of the same rhythmic motif, like this. And then half a giddy up. Right? Then back to a first position A minor. Half a giddy up. And you can tell that and 4 and is all downstroked from the half giddy up. And he finishes off like this on A minor. And he also plays that G9 at the end. Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it a lot clearer than I can play it or say it. But I have put it together in a sound alike so you can see how both guitar parts fit together. So have a look at this.
She's got the devil in her heart, but her eyes they tantalize. She's gonna tear your heart apart. Oh, her lips they really thrill me. I'll take my chances for romances so important to me.
Well, you have to admit that's some really great guitar playing by two young men in their 20s back in 1963. I suggest you download the charts and tabs at mikepachelli.com, learn both parts, play along with my sound alike, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. And I really appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. So have fun playing this great old song, because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.